Yana bir assalomu alaykum. Videolarim sizlarga yoqayotgan bo'lsa juda ham xursand bo'laman. Bugun navbatdagi reading passage, 3-passageni bajarishimiz kerak. True false not given ekan. Xo'p. Demak, forestlar haqida 7-kitobdan bu. Demak, savol turlarimiz true false 20 dan 33 gacha. Qolganini bilmadim, men uchun anchayin oson true falselarni bajarish. Shuning uchun birdan boshlaymiz. Xo'p, force problems of Mediterranean countries are to be discussed as a next meeting of experts. Demak, qanaqadir meeting bo'lar ekan, o'shanda Mediterranean, ya'ni o'sha o'rta yer mamlakatlarining o'rmon muammolari aytib o'tilar ekan. Xo'p, shu narsani topishim kerak. Keyingisiga o'taman. Problems in Nordic countries, demak, Norvegiya mamlakatlari haqidagi muammolar were excluded because they were outside the European Economic Community. Ular tashqari Yevropa iqtisodiy guruhidan tashqarida bo'lganliklari uchun ularni muammolari chiqarib tashlangan debdi. Xo'p, keyingisi forests are renewable source of raw materials. Demak, o'rmonlar xom ashyoni manbasi, ya'ni muqobil manbasi hisoblanar ekan, shuni aytilgan. The biological functions of forest were recognized. E'tibor bering, biologik funksiyasi, o'rmonning biologik funksiyasi haqida only in the 20th century, faqatgina 20-asrdagina bilishibdi. Xo'p, shu yog'ini o'zi yetadi, shu yerdan topib olamiz. Xo'p, birinchi menga kerakli narsa bu yerda Mediterranean countries meeting haqida gap ketish kerak. This geographic climate, pollution, soil degradation va hokazo muammolar haqida gap ketgan, mismanagement haqida gap ketgan. Demak, minister conference haqida gap ketgan, birinchi konferensiya deyapti. First. On the protection of Europe's forests, the conference brought together from countries across Western Europe. Destruction of forests, as well as how to combat forest fires and extension of European concept. To work for the conference and be undertaking actual meetings of experts. The meeting of experts at the bordering. Discussed in the next meeting of experts. The preparatory work for the conference had been undertaken at 2 meetings of experts. Their initial task was to decide. Demak, o'tgan zamon haqida gap ketyapti, lekin hozir haqida gap ketmayapti. Keyingi ekspertlar aytilmagan bu yerda. Those confined to particular geographical areas such as countries bordering the Mediterranean or the Nordic countries before had to be discarded. Olib tashlashga to'g'ri keldi. Lekin this doesn't mean, bu narsa anglatmaydiki, that in the future they will be ignored. Kelajakda bular e'tibor berilmaydi degani emas debdi. Xo'p, birinchi savolga not given ni beraman. NG. Nima uchun next meeting haqida gap ketmagan bu yerda. Lekin Nordic countries were excluded because they are outside the European Economic Community. Ular Yevropa iqtisodiy nimasidan tashqarida bo'lganligi uchun emas. Particular ma'lum bir geografik hududga ega bo'lganligi uchun shu uchun ham deyapti, ularni chiqarib tashlashga to'g'ri keldi deyapti. Demak, ular tashqarida degan joyi yo'q bu yerda. Demak, false. Forests are a renewable source of raw material. Demak, keyingi bananga tushamiz. Renewable source of material degan ekan. Green line for our planet by means of the forests produce oxygen through the transformation of solar energy. Fulfilling the elements is essential of an immense non-polluting power plant. Forest provides raw materials human activities through the constantly renewed constantly renewed production of wood. Demak, doimiy tarzda yangilanib turadi. Demak, haqiqatan muqobil ekanligi haqida urg'u berilyapti. True. Nima uchun? Renewable source of raw material olib keladi, source bor deyapti, lekin renewable'ligi mana renew deb yozib qo'yibdi, constantly renewed. Shu uchun. O'ttiz. As a biological function of force were recognized only 20-asrdagina bu narsa haqida bilishdi debdi. I think the economic importance of force has been understood since the dawn of man. E'tibor bering. Economic ahamiyati, ya'ni iqtisodiy ahamiyati insoniyat paydo bo'lgandan beri mavjud debdi. Since the dawn of man degan insoniyat paydo bo'lgan. The other aspects have been recognized only for a few centuries, but they are becoming more and more important. Demak, boshqa aspektlari, endi mana shu biologik funksiyasi haqida gap ketyapti, have been recognized only for a few centuries. Bir necha asrdan beri bilamiz bu narsani, but they are becoming more and more important. Lekin ular borgan sari muhimlashib ketyapti, ahamiyatga ega bo'lib ketyapti. Hence, there is a real concern throughout Europe about the damage of forest environment, which threatens these three basic roles. Okay. Faqatgina 20-asrda aytildi degan. Xo'p, javob bo'la oladi. Demak, economic funksiyasi anchadan beri bilamiz. Qolgan ahamiyatini yaqin asrlarda bildik deyapti. Lekin haqiqatan ham 20-asrda aynan biologik funksiyasi haqida gap ketgani aytilmagan. Shu uchun ham not given javobini beraman. Sababi yo'q, unaqa gap yo'q bizda. Bir necha asrdan beri degani bu balki 20-asr emas, 19-asrda yoki 18-asrda paydo bo'lgandir bu narsa. Bu narsani aytib bo'lmaydi. Xo'p, natural forest still exists in parts of Europe. Demak, Yevropaning ba'zi qismlarida tabiiy o'rmonlar hali ham mavjud degan ekan. The myth the natural forest has survived, yet there are effectively no remaining primary forest in Europe. E'tibor bering. No, qolmagan, hech qanaqa qolmagan, unaqa deb demak false. Yevropada yo'q. Forest policy should be limited by national boundaries. Demak, o'rmonlar tartibi, ya'ni qoidalari national borders faqatgina mamlakatga tegishli bo'lishi kerak. Butun unga emas. Kontinentga emas deyapti. Xo'p, all European forests are artificial, having been adapted to exploited by man thousands of years. This means that forest policy is vital. Demak, forest policy haqida gap ketgan mana shu yerda. That it must transcend national frontiers and generations of people. Lekin deyapti, u milliy chegaralarni o'tishi kerak. Ya'ni chegaralar bilan faqatgina mamlakat chegarasi bilan kifoyalanib qolmasligi kerak deyapti. False bu ham. Chunki transcend national frontiers demak milliy chegaralardan chiqish kerak. Ya'ni butun hamma o'sha millatlarga aloqador bu narsa deb aytyapti. The Strasbourg conference decided that the forest policy must allow for the possibility of change. Demak, Strasbourg konferensiyasi mana was one of the first events of such scale to reach this conclusion. A general declaration was made that a central place in any ecological coherent forest policy must be given to continuity over time and to the possible effects of unforeseen events to ensure that the full potential of these forests is maintained. Xo'p, mana shu qismini o'qisangiz, Strasbourg konferensiyasida aytildiki, qaror qilindiki deyapti. O'rmon tartibi tuzumi o'zgarish ehtimoliga e'tibor berish kerak degan. A central place in any ecologically coherent forest policy must be given to continuity o'ziga davom ettirilishi kerak over time, vaqt o'tishi bilan, and to the possible effects of unforeseen events to ensure that the full potential of these forests is maintained. Oldindan bilmaydigan qanaqadir vaziyatlar taqdirida ham deyapti, possible effects, qanaqadir ta'sir ko'rsatishi mumkin bo'lgan taqdirda ham vaqt bo'lsa ham must be given to continuity, ya'ni davomiyligi saqlab qolinishi kerak, ya'ni o'zgarilmaydi degan. False. Beramiz. 34-savolga o'tamiz. Xo'p, bu ham nisbatan qiyinroq savol. Turi bu yerda rezolyutsiyalar haqida gap ketar ekan va statementlar haqida gap ketar ekan. Pastda bizda rezolyutsiyalar bor, 6 ta rezolyutsiya bor ekan. O'sha rezolyutsiyalar bo'yicha qanday gaplar gapirilganini topamiz. Xo'p, rezolyutsiyalarni topamiz birinchi. Was accompanied by 6 detailed resolutions, demak 6 detailed resolutions, 6 ta qaror qilingan. The first, birinchi, extension and systematization of surveillance sites to monitor forest decline. Demak, kengaytirish va sistemalashtirish surveillance sites to, demak kuzatuv joylarini kengaytirish va oshirish deyapti. Xo'p, qayerda yozilgan ekan bu? They should be yo'q. Fragile mountain forests should be given prior to such programs. Yo'q. Surviving natural yo'q. Research to be better throughout Europe bo'lishi mumkin. Information on forest fires should be yo'q. Loss of leaves yo'q. Resources should be allocated to research into tree yo'q. Should be yo'q. Skiing haqida yo'q. Information is to be systematically gathered on any decline in the condition of forest. Da, G to'g'ri keladi bu yerda. Demak, birinchi rezolyutsiya bo'yicha J belgiladik. Ikkinchi rezolyutsiyaga o'tamiz. Forest decline is still poorly understood, but leads to the loss of high proportion of trees, needles, of leaves. Entire continental majority species now affected between of the population. The condition appears to result from the cumulative effect of a number of factors. These atmospheric pollutants, principal contributes compounds of nitrogen and sulfur dioxide should be particularly closely watched. However, their effects are probably accentuated by climatic factors such as drought, hard wind, and soil imbalances such as soil and the roots. As the second resolution, mana ketdi. Second resolution concentrates on the need to preserve the genetic diversity. Demak, genetik xilma-xillikni preserve qilishga bo'lgan ehtiyoj haqida gap ketyapti. Demak, bizga keraklisi genetic diversity. European forest Xo'p, qani ko'raylikchi. Genetic diversity. Da, barcha turdagi A to'g'ri kelishi mumkin. Yo'q. Yo'q. D. Research to be better coordinated. Yo'q. Information force fire. Yo'q. Loss of leaves. Aytilmagan resource should be allocated to research into yo'q. Skiing. Yo'q. Soil imbalance such as excavation should be treated with compounds. Yo'q. Demak, A. Javob to'g'ri keladi. Nima uchun? Genetik xilma-xillikni saqlab qolish degani, the aim is to reverse the decline in the number of tree species or at least to preserve the genetic material of all of them. Hammasini genetik materialni saqlab qolish kerak deyapti. All kinds of species trees should be preserved. Saqlanib qolish kerak degan gap bor. Xo'p, keyingisi 3-rezolyutsiyani topamiz. Bu yerda 4-rezolyutsiya aytilgan ekan. Third resolution mana ekan. Demak, although forest fires do not affect all of the Europe to the same extent, the amount of damage caused the expert to propose as a third resolution that the Glasgow conference considers the establishment of a European data bank on the project. Use it in the development of national preventative policies would become generally available. Demak, qanaqadir data baza tuzish haqida gap ketyapti. Forest fire bo'yicha. Okay, so let's see. A chiqib ketdi. Demak, forest fire. We not need priority treatment. Research into bibliotek community throughout yo'q. Information forest files should be collected and shared. Okay, mana database degan mana shunga to'g'ri keladi. I javob ekan. 4-rezolyutsiyaga o'tamiz. Forest resolution discussed by the ministers was mountain forest. Demak, tog'li o'rmonlar ekan. 4-rezolyutsiya bo'yicha. Yevropada deyapti, it's undoubtedly the mountain ecosystem which has changed most rapidly and is most at the risk. Demak, ular eng xavf ostidagilar shular ekan. Scattered permanent population and development of leisure activities, particularly skiing, have resulted in significant long-term changes to the local ecosystem. Proposed developments include a preferential research program on mountain forests. Qanaqadir research program qilish kerak ekan. Demak, 5th resolutionga o'tdi уже. Demak, qaraymiz. Qaysi biri o'rmonlar haqida gap ketgan. Demak, fragile mountain forests should be given priority to such programs. Da, bor. Forest in the yo'q. Research to be better coordinated. Yo'q. All useful trees should be marked. Yo'q. Research should be located research into tree. Yo'q. Be encouraged in certainly. Yo'q. Aytilmagan. O'sha gap bor, lekin g'ir teskarisi. Soil imbalance aytilmagan. J o'sha belgilandi bizada. J'ni belgiladik, I'ni belgiladik, A'ni belgiladik. 4-rezolyutsiya qo'yayotganimdek mountain surviving natural forest, fragile mountain forests B ekan. Buni belgilaymiz. 5-rezolyutsiya. Relaunched the European Research Network on the physiology of trees. Demak, daraxtlarning fiziologiyasi, ya'ni ularning sog'lomligi, Eurosilva should support joint European research on tree diseases. Demak, daraxt kasalliklari haqida gap ketamiz. Physiological and biochemical aspects, uni fiziologik va bioximik omillari haqida gap ketyapti. Concerned could increase the number of scholarship and other financial support for doctoral research projects in this area. Finally, manimcha bu 6-chi bo'lsa kerak. Forest ecosystems this woodlands. Bo'ldi. Demak, daraxtlarning sog'ligini. Yo'q, lots of leaves from trees should be more extensive. Yo'q. Located to research into tree disease. Okay, mana bu to'g'ri kelishi mumkin. Da, G ekan. Qolgani to'g'ri kelmayapti. Nima uchun? Qaraymiz. Qolgan tabiiy o'rmonlar Yevropada yo'q unaqasi. Research is better coordinated throughout Europe. Yevropada koordinatsiya bo'lishi kerak degan gap yo'q. Loss of leaves from trees should be more extensively and carefully monitored. Ya'ni daraxtlarning bargi to'kilishi haqida gapirilmagan. Skiing уже chiqib ketdi yoqdan. E. Soil imbalance such as acidification should be treated with compounds, nitrogen, sulfur. Yo'q. Demak, research into tree disease. Lekin daraxt kasalliklari haqida gap ketgan. Resurslarni o'sha researchga atash kerak degan joy bor. Qarang. Each country concerned could increase the number of scholarship is the resource ma'nosida keladi. Financial support resource ma'nosida keladi. For doctoral thesis and research projects in this area. Bu hududdagi research project uchun ajratilishi kerak deyapti. Research into tree disease to'g'ri keladi shu yerda. Okay, final. Libida 6-chi bo'ladi. The conference establishes the framework for a European research network on forest ecosystems. Demak, qanaqadir framework yaratibdi. This would also involve harmonizing activities in individual countries as well as identifying a number of priority research topics relating to the protection of forests. O'rmonlarni asrash, shunga o'xshagan conference main concern was to provide for the future. Sistematizatsiya kerak demoqchi. Yo'q. Da to'g'ri kelishi mumkin. Koordinatsiya bo'lishi kerak deyapti. Skiing should yo'q, soil imbalance such as yo'q. Demak, shu ekan. Da javob. Qolgani ma'nosi ham, mavzusi ham to'g'ri kelmaydi. Demak, yaxshiroq koordinatsiya bo'lishi kerak, ya'ni organizovat qilinishi kerak butun Yevropa davomida. Shu ichida degan ma'noda kelyapti. The conference establishes a framework. Framework degani o'sha qolib bo'lish kerak. European Research Network. Qanaqadir Yevropa tadqiqot networki bo'yicha koordinatsiya degan ma'noda keladi. Forest ecosystem. European research and research into better coordinated. Qolgan to'g'ri kelmaydi. Va oxirgisi, demak 6 ga D ni belgiladim, 5 ga qaysini belgiladim? G ni belgilagan ekanman. G ni belgiladim va 40-savol. What is the best title for reading passage 3? Demak, passage 3 ni title nima deb so'rayapti. Xo'p, tekstni o'qib o'tirishim shart emas, shunday ham bilsa bo'ladi. O'rmonlarning biologik, ekonomik va recreational degan insonlarga zavq beradigan roli deyapti. Balkim to'g'ri. Yevropani o'rmonlarini asrash uchun planlar bor bu. The priority of European research into ecosystems. Yevropa yo'q. The proposals for a worldwide policy. Hech qanaqa worldwide bu yerda faqat Yevropa haqida gap ketgan, shu uchun chiqib ketdi. Demak, B javob to'g'ri bo'ladi desa. Sababi xo'p. Butun o'sha rezolyutsiya Yevropa o'rmonlari haqida gap ketgan. Nima qilish kerakligi haqida gap ketgan, shu uchun ham protection bo'yicha Yevropa o'rmonlarini protect qilish bo'yicha xo'p biologik, ekonomik va recreational rol haqida gap ketgan, faqat birinchi, ikkinchi paragrafda bo'ldi. Boshqa paragrafda unaqa gap ketmagan, ularning rol haqida gap ketmagan. 4-da esa worldwide policy yo'q. Hech qanaqa butun dunyoda bunaqa policy qilishimiz kerak degan gapi yo'q. Shu uchun ham B javobni belgiladim. Keyin researchni priority ekanligi haqida gapirmagan. Bitta ikkita shta paragrafda bor, lekin butun paragraf o'sha haqida emas. Shu uchun ham plans to protect the forest of Europe. Yevropa o'rmonlarini himoya qilishga bo'lgan rejalar mavzusi. Xo'p, shu bilan tugatdik. True, false, not given savollarimizda not given, false, true, not given, false, false, false bo'ldi. Keyingi savollarimiz bu matching information edi. Rezolyutsiyalarga qarab bo'lib chiqdik va oxirgi savolimiz bizda o'sha tekstni umumiy ma'nosini so'ragan multiple choice savolimiz bo'ldi va B javobni belgiladik. Videomiz sizga yoqqan bo'lsa xursand bo'lamiz. Kanalimizga obuna bo'lib qo'ying. Keyingi videolarni ko'rish imkoniyatiga ega bo'lish uchun qo'ng'iroqchani bosib qo'yishni unutmang. E'tiboringiz uchun katta rahmat. IELTSdan yuqori ball olishlaringizni tilakdoshiman. Xayr, sog' bo'ling.